empaths, Trishna here. Welcome to day 4 of the Empath Survival Course, where we're going to go into the topic of meditation. So meditation is something that should be a daily part of everybody's day, whether they're an empath or not. And that's because we are all spiritual beings. We're all beings of spirit. And meditation is that time when we can actually connect with ourselves and also connect with spirit. And we just end up getting so busy with our lives that we often aren't listening to the guidance that Spirit is telling us. And that guidance and that wisdom would really make our lives so much easier if we were just paying attention. And so whenever we sit down to meditate, that is a time when Spirit can come through to us and directly share what it really wants us to know and be aware of, and what would really help us with our lives and our paths and our steps forward. And then on top of that, because when you're meditating, a lot of times you're taking the observer role. That allows us to, after the meditation, go out into our world and see the signs, the symbols, the codes that Spirit is telling us that we otherwise would not have really noticed or paid attention to, or that we would have just shrugged off as if it didn't mean anything. So meditation is really important for us, for empaths, and really just for our connection with Spirit. And then on top of that, psychologists highly recommend meditation for people who are dealing with anxiety or depression. And those are emotions that a lot of empaths tend to deal with, a lot of situations that they tend to deal with. And the reason why it's recommended for anxiety and depression is because meditation is so powerful in helping us improve our mood and helping us shift our perspectives to something different. And lots of successful people, probably most successful people, use meditation in their daily lives. I believe Tim Ferriss said that 80% of successful people meditate. And if you Google it and put in CEOs who meditate, or entrepreneurs who meditate, or successful people who meditate, you will find lots of search results for that, long lists of articles that list out all the CEOs that do that, the companies that they work for, what their names are, maybe sometimes what kinds of meditations that they do. And that's because it is just so important. If I was going to throw out a few, there's Oprah Winfrey, Jerry Seinfeld, Ariana Huffington, but there's way more than just those 3 who meditate. So if you don't want to take my word for it, then take the word of many successful people in our world. They all meditate. And the reason why they do that is because meditation allows you to gain better control of your emotions. It improves your memory, it enhances your ability to focus, it improves your relationships with other people, it helps you release stress, reduce stress, and it raises your vibration. And these are all really important things for empaths as well. And I feel like I'm not really doing justice to just the power of meditation and the importance of it, even with this list. But if I were to talk about empaths specifically, meditation allows you to connect with your spirit guides and allows you to connect with your higher self, whether or not that was the intention of your meditation. It enhances your psychic abilities, again, whether or not that was the intention of your meditation. It allows you to reduce the amount of mental chatter going on in your head. And that's not just the mental chatter that you have created for yourself, it's also the mental chatter of the people around you, the animals around you, the spirit beings around you, all of the energies that you're absorbing from them, their emotions, their thoughts, their ideas, just whatever it is that you're absorbing from them. It helps you release all of that as well. Because you're in an observer role, this allows you to, like in the trigger video, it allows you to be able to separate and distinguish between what energy, thoughts, and feelings are yours and what is not yours. Because when you're taking that time to yourself to meditate, you're starting to get to know who you are, the kinds of thoughts that you have, your feelings around things that you haven't quite processed yet. And so that allows you to create that distinction between what is yours and what is someone else's. And then we've already mentioned how it releases negative energy, and then it also increases your vibration, like I mentioned before, which again is very crucial for empaths, because you really want to make sure you are in the best vibration possible and that you're always putting the effort to be at your highest vibration. Because, so this kind of goes back to the trigger video where we talked about the parties, but basically you bring to you experiences that match your vibration. That's the law of attraction. And that is really important for empaths, because not only do we bring situations to us like everybody else, but we really absorb the energies of those situations and those people that we're bringing to us. So it's like extra important that we are selective in what we want to bring into our experience. And like in the trigger video with those parties, some parties you may go to where the people, for whatever reason, those people tend to drain your energy and you don't have a good time and you're ready to leave by 10 o'clock, old people standards. And then some parties you could go all night long. The energy of the people just is so exciting. You take on their energy as yours, and you can go all night long, and you don't really want the night to end. And you get to make the decision when you have those two options of which party you want to go to. But having those options is all dependent on where your vibration is at, because if you are in a more positive vibration, yeah, you're going to bring in more of these positive parties for you to decide from. But if you're in a more negative vibration, you're going to bring in more negative options for you to choose from and fewer positive ones. So you get to decide what ride you're on, the negative or the positive, and that all stems from first being in a place where you're raising your vibration. So again, meditation is extremely crucial for that reason. Okay, so for those of you who were not bought into the whole meditation concept before and thought this video was going to be a total snooze fest, I hope you guys are a little bit more on board with the whole idea and you understand the benefits of it and how this can totally transform your life. And if you're already on board with meditation, then I hope that you're a little bit more inspired than you were before and more excited to get on your meditation practice. So now we're going to go into some different components about meditating, especially if you're new to the whole process, and things for you to consider. And I'm going to be looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything, and there's a lot we're going to cover. So, all right, so in terms of how to meditate, one of the things that you're going to want to consider is how do you want to engage your body? And what I mean by that is meditation, like, should you be lying down? Should you be sitting down? When it comes to meditation, there are benefits to sitting down, but really whatever makes you feel the most comfortable is what you should do. So you can lie down if you want to meditate, you can sit down if you want to meditate. I'm sure you can even stand up if you wanted to meditate, whichever one really makes you feel comfortable, because when you meditate, the number one objective is for you to be able to be present in the moment and to enjoy the experience. You don't want to be in a position that feels uncomfortable and then the whole time you're kind of cranky or you're feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling pain. Like, that's not the whole point of this, and that's why I say whatever works for you is what you guys should do. Also, it can be dependent on your mood. Sometimes you may want to sit down, other days you may want to lie down. So whatever works for you. Now, if you guys decide that you want to sit down while you meditate, you guys can sit in lotus position, which is the traditional meditation position for yogis. But as adults, at least for me, we're not as flexible as we used to be. And so if you haven't really been sitting that way for most of your life, then it's probably not going to be very comfortable for you. So it's totally fine to sit with your legs crossed. That's how I sit, just typical standard sitting cross-legged. So if that's how you guys want to sit, then that's perfectly fine. Now, the other thing is that we're not really used to sitting down for long periods of time on the floor. That's really something that kids are used to, but as adults, we get out of practice of sitting that way. So it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for your spine, possibly, and having the right posture. And so what you can do for that is you can sit on a pillow, or you can roll up a towel and put it under your butt, basically, and that will help support your spine and will make it a lot more comfortable for you. If you want to, you can also lean up against the wall or lean up against your bed or something, but I think that the towel or the pillow will really go a long way for you and kind of give you that support that you need. Now, in terms of what you do with your hands, you could put it in your lap, but I really think the best way is to have your hands out on your knees. And if you don't want to do anything with your hands, you can just leave them palms up. And I feel like that really opens you up to the energy and just the receiving and transmitting that goes on, and just really puts you in that relaxed state and opening yourself up to the divine. So I think that's why you should do it that way. Now, if you want to do something with your hands, you can put them in different positions. Now, if you've seen yogis, they probably have them like in different positions. Those are called mudras. It's spelled M-U-D-R-A-S. And you can put your hands in one of those. I know I've been meditating since I was like 8, because I grew up with my grandfather and he was very into this and wanted me to be a yogi and all of that. So he taught me a few mudras. The one that I remember most is this one, where basically I use my index finger and my thumb, and my index finger, I think it goes right here on the thumb, like where the first line is. Yeah. I can do a video on mudras if you guys would like. That's just the one that I really use. And I think this one, so what are mudras? So mudras basically are you putting your fingers in different positions, and there are a lot of nerve endings in your hands. There's a lot of nerve endings everywhere, but there's a lot in your hands. And whenever you hold them like this, you're putting very light pressure. You're not pressing down, you're just gently doing that, but it's stimulating those nerve endings, and that stimulates the corresponding parts of your brain. And that allows you to get added benefits to your meditation. So I think this one was the one he gave me for school, which was like improving concentration and focus and all of that. So if you guys want to do a video on mudras, I can go over that with you guys in a separate video. But that's what you guys can do. You don't have to do that. Just whatever feels right for you, whatever feels comfortable, whatever aligns with your personal beliefs. So there's that. I almost forgot to mention that another way that you can sit when you meditate is to sit in a chair. You have your feet flat on the ground, and then that also gives you a support in the back with the back part of the chair if that feels better for you. Again, whatever works for you. And then let's see. Okay, if you guys want to lie down, again, you guys should lie on your back, and that kind of keeps your spine more straight. And that's one of the reasons why yogis sit down, is because it aligns all of it aligns your spine and all of your energy centers. And so that is why that is the preferred method, I guess. But like I was saying, it's all about being comfortable. That is a number one in my opinion. And I do sit down sometimes, but I also lie down. I probably lie down most of the time when I meditate. So again, it's all about feeling comfortable and being in the moment. That is what I think you should prioritize, especially as empaths, because we really need to take in that moment and find our center so we can go out in the world and be grounded in it and be able to handle it and function very, like, at a high level. Okay, so if you guys want to lie down, basically lay down on your back. And again, I recommend that you have your palms up, facing up, and that just opens you up, basically. And have your legs slightly apart, and then have your hands slightly apart from your body, and just lie like that. But again, whatever works for you. If there's a different position that works better for you, then that's fine as well. So that's how you guys engage your body. Now, in terms of how to breathe, so what you want to do is whenever you inhale, a big part of meditating is breathing very deeply, because you want to get in all that oxygen into your body, into your cells so they're functioning at a higher level, into your bloodstream, into your whole energetic field and centers in between your organs. You just really want to get that air in. Air is very, very important. It is what is sustaining life. Air is life in many ways. So you want to breathe deep. Now, the way to do that is when you breathe in, you usually breathe in from your nose. And then you want to fill your body up with air from the stomach going up. So don't just fill up your lungs. Start from the bottom, just fill it up. And don't be afraid to let your stomach kind of bloat out with air, and just fill all the way up. And then when you exhale, this is one where you have a little bit more what works best for you. I think it's recommended that you exhale with your mouth open. So exhale from your mouth and just release all of that air. If you feel comfortable releasing from your nose, breathing back out from your nose, that's fine. You can move on to breathing from your mouth later, or never, whatever works for you. But usually it's recommended that you breathe out from your mouth. So it's like, just bring in that life force and exhaling the negativity and the energy that you do not need, that does not serve you. So that's how you breathe. Now, in terms of how often and how long you should be meditating, in terms of how often, you guys should be meditating 4 to 5 times a week if possible. If you can do 7 times a week, even better. And that means 4 to 5 days a week. If you can do 7 days a week, that's even better. You really only need to meditate once a day. You don't really have to do more than that unless you want to. Some days you're going to be more stressed and you're going to want more time for yourself and meditate as often as you want, but you really don't have to sit around meditating all day long. Just if you're looking for the bare minimum, once a day. And in terms of how long you should breathe during that time, meditate, 15 to 20 minutes is very effective. That's really about as much as you need to do. We're all busy people, and that is a very, very good amount of time. If you want to do 30 minutes, that's also very good. I don't really recommend doing 60 minutes or more, because if you're not really a yogi, you don't really need that. You're already going to get the benefits from 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Unless you want to meditate for that long, and unless you have the time for that. Sometimes I want to do that too, and I do. But only if you want to. This doesn't have to be something that you spend all day doing, because you came here in a physical body, in a physical world, to go out and do physical things and make physical changes and improvements to the world. You didn't come here to sit in your room all day and meditate. If you wanted to do that, you would have been born into a yogi kind of lifestyle, or you would not have come into a physical body. You would just stay in the ethers, and you could just do that all the time. So meditation does not have to be a forever long process. You can be very, very effective with 15 to 20 minutes. 30 minutes is good, and that's really about all that you really need. Okay, so now we're going to go into the different kinds of meditation. I'm going to share all the different kinds that I do. I don't do each one of these every time I meditate. I don't even do each one of these every week. I do really the one that I feel like doing that day, based off of how I feel that day, my mood, my interest, where my mind's at. That's just kind of how I do it. So I'm just going to share a list, and this is really just to give you an idea of the different kinds of meditations that are out there. If you haven't really been meditating before, or maybe if you've only done a few and you just would like to learn a few more ideas, you don't have to use any of these. These are just the ones that have resonated with me, that I found along the way. If there's something else that you prefer, then do that. And actually, if there is something else that you prefer, please leave me a comment in the comment section of this YouTube video, or email me, either one, whichever one you prefer, and share what your meditation is, because I love meditations and I'm always looking for more, because variety is always nice. It gives you a creative way. It keeps it interesting. And the whole point of the meditation is to have a good time, enjoy yourself, be in the moment, feel happy, and be engaged in that moment. It's not supposed to be this thing where you're just like, all right, is time up yet? It's supposed to be something that you can enjoy. So I'm always looking for that. So please share if you have any other methods aside from the ones that I mentioned. So, okay. This is where I'm really going to be focusing on my list, because there's a lot. So one of the things that you guys can do is relax your body. And this is actually a way that I start almost all my meditations, because sometimes I combine them. So this is one that you can combine with any other meditation that you want to do, because it really starts things off in the right way. Because you want to be relaxed in your body. When you're relaxed in your body, you can be relaxed in your mind. I've always felt that if your body is not relaxed, your mind will have a really, really hard time relaxing as well, and kind of being under more of your control. So this is really important. So the way to relax your body is you can start from your head down or start from your feet up, whatever really works. I know there's different theories on which one you should be doing, but whatever works for you. So let's say we're going to start from the head up. Like, I will probably just close my eyes and I will just imagine my scalp relaxing. Then I'll move to my forehead, my eyebrows, my nose, my cheek, and just imagining the energy, negativity, the stress just leaving my body, and everything just setting. And I basically go through my entire body that way. Now, if you're having a day when you are really stressed, or you haven't really been meditating in a while, you've kind of fallen out of practice, because that does happen. I want to actually say that is, you should meditate as often as possible, but there are going to be times when you don't meditate for a while. That happens to me. It's perfectly fine. It happens. Just do your best. Okay. So what if you really can't relax your body that way? So what I would recommend is that, let's say you're trying to go with your scalp, try to stress your scalp, try to tense it up, and then release it, and feel that relaxation. And then do the same with your forehead. Tense it up. This probably looks funny, but tense it up, and then release it. Do the same with your nose. Release. Your cheeks. Release. And in that contrast of the tension to the relaxation, you will feel more relaxed, and then it'll also get your blood flowing, which will also help relax you and release a lot of that negative energy that's built up, the negative tension, the stress that you're feeling, all that good stuff. So that's relaxing your body. All right, the next one is using light. So again, you can do this whichever direction. I think with light, you usually start from the top. So you imagine like light coming into your energetic field or into your body, and you can pick what color light you want. So I often pick like white sparkly light, and the white light is kind of imbued with rainbow colors, because like white has all the colors like a crystal. Or I do golden sparkly light. You can also do green light, and green is the color of the heart chakra, so it's a nice one for empaths. You can also do purple or like indigo if you want to enhance your psychic abilities, that kind of thing. But whatever color you want, it really doesn't matter. It's the color that you prefer and what it means to you. And basically, I imagine that light going into my head and going into my hair, going into my face, my forehead, my eyes, my ears, back of my neck, shoulders, and just going through my entire body. Now, you can be as detailed with that as you want and go through every little layer, or you could just be a little bit quicker, like, yeah, my hair, my face, whatever really works for you in that moment, whatever you're feeling. That's how you go about that. Now, kind of going off of that and segueing into the chakra meditations, you can use light and have that spill through, go through your crown, through your third eye, through your throat, your heart, and just have the light just going through, down through your spine, filling up each of the different chakras on your way down or on your way up, whichever one works. And that's the way that you can use light and do a chakra meditation. Now, another way you can use light and chakra meditation is each chakra has a different color. So let's say we're going up, the root chakra is red, the sacral is orange. You can imagine as you go to each chakra that red, the root one lights up with red. And then you move up to the sacral, it lights up with orange. Move up to the solar plexus, lights up with yellow. You can imagine the lights however you want. You can imagine them going out in whatever direction you want, the extent of whatever you want, going throughout your entire energetic field. You can stay on each chakra as long as you want. You don't have to rush through it. You can take your time, whatever you feel. And then moving into a more chakra meditation that does not include light, you can go through each chakra and imagine each one as a flower. And you can imagine it as all the same flower, or you can imagine it as a flower that's colored by the color of the chakra. So I would start with my root one, and I might imagine a flower, or I might imagine a red flower. I tend to do the right color one, but really it doesn't matter. It's all about your visualization and what works for you, because this is your time. Always remember, this is your time. Okay, so I go to my root, and I imagine the flower, and then I watch it, and I turn the flower 3 times around. I was going to say clockwise, but it's kind of hard to tell what is clockwise depending on so just turn it around in the direction that you like. And then, and that just feels like, wow, like my chakra just opened. I feel it right now. I move up to my sacral and I do the same thing, rotate 3 times. And if you want to include lights in that, that's fine. It's like you could rotate it, and once it's rotated, the light just shines, whatever you want to do. But that's how you can do some chakra meditations to open up and rebalance all of that. And let's see, and I really like meditations, and I've been thinking about creating meditations of my own, like meditation CDs and meditations for specific things, and then also meditations for rebalancing, or maybe like a group course for rebalancing your chakras, because that is very important, especially for empaths, because we tend to have really big heart centers, and that's good, but that sometimes takes away from the other centers, and so we want to still emphasize the heart while also giving attention to the other chakras so that they are also balanced in their own way, in a balance that works with the empath specific wiring. So I am thinking about doing a course like that. If I do that, you guys will definitely know about that, but just something for you guys to keep in mind. Okay, so now we can do another kind of meditation, which is releasing negative energy. So you can use lights here, or you can just imagine your body relaxing and just all the negative energy just coming out of your body, just releasing from your body and leaving only the positive. And what I like to do on top of that is I like to imagine that negative energy then gets transmuted into positive energy and goes up to the universe, and just is positive energy that now gets cycled out to anybody who needs some positive energy. So that's how I like to do it. But you can just imagine the negative energy kind of slipping away and just feeling the relaxation as it slips away. You can imagine it slipping away however you would like. You can imagine what the negative energy looks like however you'd like. It could be like maybe dark smoke, whatever you want it to be, whatever works with your visualization. Okay, so now one thing that you can do is breathe in an emotion. So you can, or breathe in something that you want. So you can breathe in love. I like this one. You can breathe in abundance. You can breathe in healing. And basically when you breathe in, you're breathing in abundance from the universe. You're breathing in love from the universe, which is infinite, and it's giving you infinite stores. It's always there for you, infinite amounts. Anytime you want it, all you have to do is breathe and it becomes yours. And then on the exhale, I like to imagine that I'm sharing my abundance with the world. I'm sharing love with the world. I'm sharing healing with the world. I'm getting infinite amounts and just sharing it with the world. I'm overflowing with it and just wanting to give it to others. And this is really great for empaths, especially if you are indigos or light workers or crystal children, and working with the grids of our planet, where you're wanting to put in positive energy to the grids. You can breathe in love, universal love and infinite love, and then release that love on your exhale to the grids and power them up with more love. So if you guys are into that kind of energy work, then this is something that you can kind of do together. All right, so now, my voice cracked. Now you guys, another one is you guys can pick a place that you find very soothing to you. So you can pick like a cave if that's comforting, forest, beaches, an old castle ruin that maybe you visited on some vacation. You can pick like what's the word, like old Native American temples. I can't think of them right now. They're like in Peru. Anyways, where they have like those pyramids and everything's aligned, and it's just a very energetically high vibing place. So wherever you want to imagine, just imagine being there. And when you're there, think about where are you sitting or lying down or however you want to appear in that image. You can be sitting in your image even if you're lying down in your meditation, just what you want. Think about the feelings, what's around you. If you're on a beach, what does the sand feel like? Is it wet? Is it dry? You can listen to the waves. You can smell the salt. You can hear the seagulls. You can hear kids playing in the background. You can see sand castles. And basically just bring in your entire environment and just enjoy it. And who's with you? Maybe there's somebody with you that you love and you just feel so loved in this place. You could be on a cloud. You can be on a different planet. It's wherever you feel comforted or you feel close. You could have maybe your deceased relatives around you and the spirits. Was about to run out of space again, but basically pick whatever location really works for you and then create your surroundings and make sure it's a place that you really resonate with and feels comfortable. And maybe there could be a fountain or some kind of well, I don't know, whatever really works for you guys. So okay, so the next thing is picking a specific sense to focus on. So some people like to focus on a specific sound. They might listen to the air conditioning, they might imagine a certain tone or listen to a certain tone. They might focus on the traffic that's going on outside and really just meditate and close your eyes and just follow it wherever it goes and just pay attention to it and listen to the complexities in that sound. So that's one thing that you can do, especially if you're in a noisy environment and you want to meditate without music or something like that. You can just do that. I personally, if I'm going to pick out on a certain sense, I like to meditate on a feeling. So I feel a lot of really nice feelings in my solar plexus. So whenever I'm doing this kind of meditation, I'll close my eyes and I'll focus on my solar plexus and I'll just naturally feel happy. And once I find that happy feeling, I'll just focus on that feeling for as long as I can go, really. And you can do the same thing. You can find your feeling, you can find a sound, you can find a smell, maybe you can imagine a smell that you really like. You can do whatever really works for you. I feel like I'm repeating that a lot, whatever works for you. Okay, so then another thing you can do is, there's this meditation that I read about a long time ago. So I don't remember the details of it. I'm just going to give you the version of it that I've kind of been practicing and remember. It's a meditation that I think comes from Buddhism, where basically what you do is, it's called like a smiling meditation. And what you do is you imagine different parts of your body or your organs. I like to imagine my organs, but it could be like your hands or your fingers or something, where you imagine yourself smiling at that part of your body. So I might imagine myself smiling at my heart. And then you imagine your heart smiling back at you. And then I might imagine smiling at my stomach. And my stomach smiling back at me. And smiling at my intestines smiling back at me. And you can actually smile while you're doing this meditation. Just be like, it feels weird to do on camera, but you can actually smile. And you know how they say, I guess this kind of relates to what they say just in science, which is where if you're not feeling happy, force yourself to smile. And in forcing yourself to smile, you'll actually start to feel happier because your brain, I don't know what their explanation is for it, but I probably read it, I just don't remember right now, but basically for me it's like whenever your brain is programmed to smile when you're happy, and so whenever you smile and you're not happy, your brain makes that association as happy and you just naturally feel those feelings. So you can do a smiling meditation like that. That can be helpful. Another thing you can do is watch your thoughts. So this is where you take on that observer role. And this is one that'll help you figure out what are your thoughts and feelings around things and what is not your thoughts and feelings around things. So basically, close your eyes and just allow your mind to settle and quiet down, and eventually it's going to wander on its own. And when it wanders on its own, you'll kind of lose track. Like, it'll wander, you'll start to daydream, and the moment you realize you've daydreamed, then you try to figure out, okay, what was the thought before this one? And then once you figure that out, you figure out what was the thought before that one, and you try to find the root cause and try to go as far back to what you remember that led to that memory. How did you wander? Where did that wandering start? And that's just kind of a fun way to watch your thoughts. And you can just watch it in general, just see like what thoughts come up, what visuals come up, what feelings come up, and just really be an observer and not really judge what's coming around with your thoughts. Just allow them to be what they want to be, and just observe them as an observer. Don't participate in it. Don't get emotionally, if you see something negative come up, like a negative memory, don't get emotionally invested in it too much. Just see it as that observer, and it gives you a perspective on your situation that you don't normally have when you're in day-to-day life actually living those negative experiences. So it's a really good way to be very aware of what's going on, and I feel like there's a word for this. There is a word for this. Mindful. Being very mindful of your situation. Another thing you can do, and I do this one before I fall asleep, is you can basically just think about nothing. And this is better whenever you are trying to fall asleep, because you can't actually do this for too long. I found I can do this like for a few minutes. Maybe some people can do it for longer. But basically what happens is after like a few minutes of trying to think of nothing, I just fall asleep. So it's a great way to fall asleep if you really can't fall asleep. If you are using this to fall asleep, really make sure that you relax your body first, because if you don't relax your body, you will not be able to think about nothing. Your mind will just be going a mile a minute. That's probably why you can't fall asleep, because your mind's going a mile a minute. So first relax your body, then think about nothing, and then that will help you fall asleep. Okay, so the last one is doing guided meditations. So this is something where it might take you a little while to figure out what voice you like, what style of guided meditation you like, if you like the background music. So you may have to experiment and see what kinds of guided meditations you like, but that's another really good one. That's one that if you really just are not in the mood to meditate, but you know you really want to continue your practice, you can do a guided meditation that you enjoy, because you're basically following along with a very soothing, enjoyable, calming storyline. And so it's more fun, it's more enjoyable, and it helps in those days when you really just don't feel like meditating. All right, so now we're going to go into some things to keep in mind throughout your meditation. So the first thing is, if your mind wanders, that is okay. It is not so much about being perfect and having the perfect meditation that day where you were completely focused. It is about the intent and putting in the energy and the effort to have a good experience, and that is it. It is not about how great you're doing by some measure. This is not something you need to be measuring. And if, let's say, you have a whole streak of you really being involved in the meditation, really getting it, really being focused and in the moment, and then one day you can't focus, that is not you digressing. That is not you doing the opposite of progressing. That is just you having more thoughts that day, you being more stressed that day because of whatever is going around in your environment at that point in time. So please, do not use this time to beat yourself up. This is your time. This is your time to enjoy the experience, to be in the moment, and to not hate yourself or judge yourself or add on any more stress than you need to. It's supposed to be a time when you're not stressed. So anything that you're thinking that is stressing you out, let it go. Meditation is something that is going to be very personal. I've given you a bunch of ideas on how to do yours, but even in those, sometimes I'm like, you decide what color you want, you decide how the visualization plays out, you decide what location you want. It is all about what works for you with your experience and your mind and your preferences and just what makes you feel good. This is your time, your 15 to 20 to 30 minutes of peace when there's nobody else you need to be thinking about but you. No stresses need to be thinking about, no problems, nobody you need to be helping. It's your time, so make it enjoyable. Also, if your mind wanders, it does not necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes that is just your guidance speaking to you, trying to make you aware of certain things. So if it's positive guidance, it's probably giving you some advice. And so pay attention to it, enjoy it. Just allow it to come to you. Be that observer. If it's negative things that are coming to you, it's probably like if it's a memory that you have, then that is probably just a memory that is surfacing that wants to be heard and wants to be seen. It's something that maybe you thought you've healed on that you haven't healed on, and that's why it's there. And in that case, again, just be that observer. Just appreciate that it showed up, love it for showing up, love the fact that it exists. All it wants is to be loved. And when you love these negative memories that we normally try to push out and shut down and ignore and hope it goes away, when you show it love and give it the attention that it wants, it will show up less and less because it feels loved, and that is a form of healing. So don't hate the negative memories that come up. Don't say like, well, I thought I was over that. Why am I still thinking that? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It just wants to be heard. That's what it needs now. So just allow it to be heard. And there's one more thing that I wanted to mention, which is with regards to lying down when you meditate. Some people are a little against lying down when you meditate because there's a higher chance that you could fall asleep during that meditation. I get that, but I personally don't think that that should be factored into your decision to sit down or lie down, because to me, your meditation is your time. Like I keep saying, it's what you need. It's what your spirit, your body are all deciding that you need in that moment. If you start to fall asleep, it's because that is what you in your entirety have decided that you most need. If you're falling asleep in your meditation, it's probably because you're sleep deprived and you need the sleep, or you're healing, or you're going through some kind of awakening and you need those additional Z's. And so for me, I just think if you fall asleep, I just feel like if you fall asleep during your meditation, it's because that's your time. That's how your meditation time is going to be allotted. That's what is taking precedence, and it is your time. So give it the precedence. Let it be what it needs to be. And eventually you won't keep falling asleep as you catch up on your sleep. So like I meditate lying down, and I used to fall asleep all the time, but I don't anymore. So if you guys are at risk for falling asleep and you decide to meditate in the morning before your day starts, before work, let's say, make sure you set an alarm if you think you're going to fall asleep, or maybe just set an alarm just in case so that you don't end up oversleeping and then end up being late for work. Or if you want to meditate before bed and then you fall asleep, then that's perfect because you're going to go to sleep anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so I didn't really cover what time of day you should meditate. I think it really depends on your schedule. So ultimately the best time really is the morning, because you are already in a more positive state of mind. You just woke up, you haven't really processed the day yet, you can kind of sit in your space. Nothing's really happened. The stresses haven't really started unless they're kind of rolling over from the night before, but for the most part, you're kind of in a more zen place, more concentrated place. So the morning is a better time to meditate for that reason. And then also, like, you set yourself off on a good energetic path, good vibration, good feelings, good mental attitude. And that basically affects the decisions that you make throughout the day and how you interact with people and how you respond to stresses and events that show up, because you're in that better mindset. So for that reason, the morning tends to be the better time. I wish I could meditate in the morning, but I am not a morning person. So even though I know it's like the better time, I actually meditate in the evening or at night before I go to bed, because it's just what works better with my body and my energy and my personal schedule. So do what works best for you. So you guys know what's best now, like morning, but really just do what works best for you. What is a time that you can commit to doing this regularly, and it's not a struggle to commit to it. So there's that. And I think that's just about everything that we need to cover for meditation. So tomorrow is day 5, and in day 5 we're going to go over a few different techniques to help you release energy and deal with a lot of negative energy coming your way. I know we've already gone over some, but in tomorrow's video we're going to go into how to ground yourself. We're going to go into how to use crystals to help you. We're going to go into how to transmute energy. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty good video. So lots of different techniques to help you. Just, again, this is all about having a toolkit of different options that you can use, and you can figure out what really resonates with you. So I just really want to present all the options, all the ones that I use that have really helped me along the way. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.